In this video, we will be 100%ing Resident Evil Requiem, and this game needs no introduction. We will get all 49 of the game's achievements from our very first playthrough, all the way through to the very end. Without any further ado, I hope you enjoyed the video, and let's get straight into it. The story starts with Grace being called to her boss's office to investigate a string of mysterious deaths. This time, she needs to go to the Rhodes hotel, which is where her mother died, but she reluctantly accepts, and her story begins. Grace makes her way to Wrenwood and comes across a crime scene, and a police officer lets her through after seeing her FBI ID. Arriving at the abandoned Wrenwood hotel shortly after and making our way inside, we find a photo of her and a key sticky taped to the back. Continuing to explore the building, we make our way upstairs, find pliers to cut the wires holding the door shut, and pass through the hallway to reach room 204. On the bed lies an assortment of photos, but this one specifically catches her eye. 8 years ago, in this exact room, Grace sits on the bed, working on her laptop with her mom, Alyssa Ashcroft, beside her.
I've been on that thing all day.
When she receives a call to their room. After picking up, they ask for a Miss Ashcroft before hanging up, and the power cuts out as well. Alyssa, recognizing the signs, knows she is in danger, so she and Grace flee the building, running until they reach the hotel lobby, seeing the manager who's just trying to fix the power. A false alarm. Just kidding. A hooded assassin instantly kills him, and Alyssa shoots him down before hiding a small bag behind a painting. But they need to stop as Grace has an anxiety attack. Her mother calms her down, but this enables the assassin to sneak up to Alyssa from behind, instantly killing her before he succumbs to his wounds, leaving Grace to mourn alone. She sits beside the bed, feeling guilty for her mother's death, blaming herself for what happened that day. But she gets up and goes to find what Alyssa hid 8 years ago, going back to the same spot in the flashback, finding Alyssa's notebook and a floppy disk. The police officer from earlier is back though, surprising us, and he transforms into an infected. Our jacket gets stuck and he shoots a gun out of our hands, forcing us to frantically escape and fight for our lives. Grabbing the emergency exit key, giving Grace a small opportunity to flee upstairs using the key, and throw him out of the window, hopefully killing him. But nearby, the main antagonist, Dr. Victor Gideon, sits in a chair, waiting to introduce himself. Realizing she wandered a little too far, she tries to run, but is choked unconscious. Shortly before this, Leon pulls up to a crime scene investigating the same deaths from the same infection they are also suffering from, dubbed Raccoon City Syndrome, and after a tip from Sherry, Leon goes to Wrenwood. And as soon as Leon arrives, well, looky here, isn't that suspicious? Moving after him, he shoots some random civilians with a T-virus infection to throw us off our trail, and we fight some zombies. It's getting out of control very quickly. After more fighting down the street, we get the untouchable achievement for parrying an attack, and right after that, can I borrow this, for throwing a weapon dropped by an enemy. And after escaping the chaos down the street, Gideon is gone, but we know where he's going next, the Rhodes Hill Care Center, and get the Deja Vu achievement at the end of the chapter. Grace wakes up imprisoned in the care center, and after we free ourselves from our restraints, we slowly explore the building. There's no power, so we need to find the second fuse to leave the area. We can hear that something is happening outside. Leon arrived at Rhodes Hill at around the same time through the front entrance, escorted by the nurse, who had no idea how quickly the situation would get out of control. Back to Grace, we pick up the share-up key to unlock its respective room, and get a glass bottle and a lighter, which provides much needed light. We also need to run from the monster hunting us down, known as the Girl, an intelligent stalker type enemy that's sensitive to light. Inside the room, we needed to wheel a cart over to the shelf to our right, hiding on the way several times because items kept falling off. Noise alerts the girl, and she searches attentively several times. But we eventually push it up far enough to climb on top and get the toolbox, which contains the screwdriver we needed. We wait for an opening to return to the second fuse box undetected and get an achievement for saving our game with a typewriter for the first time. Meanwhile, Leon murders all the infected trapped with him, earning a Chop Chop achievement for defeating 3 enemies with a hatchet finishing attack. And bang for your buck for defeating at least 3 enemies with a single Requiem round. As we leave, we get an achievement for destroying our first Mr. Raccoon. And Grace uses the screwdriver to collect the last fuse. We run, unlocking the gate and crawling out. But the girl stops us and almost drags us away until Leon jumps in, blowing part of her face clean off. They get acquainted but can't chat for long because they're separated. Leon gives Grace his Requiem to help her get out safely, but Gideon soon puts Leon to sleep. Grace now needs to find a way to escape of a Rhodes Hill Care Center on her own. To do this, we need to find the moon, sun, and star quartzes and place all 3 inside the door to unlock the exit. It starts with an achievement for putting an item in the item box as Grace for the first time. And we find a little girl named Emily held captive in the center. She is also blind as shown by her cataracts. After the cutscene plays, we get the West Wing keycard, which lets us explore the first part of the building. Many infected await inside, retaining remnants of their humanity. Inside the dining room, we find the B934 handgun, but no rounds though. And after making our way upstairs, we get a map and explore the chairman's office. Here, we find a jewel box containing a red gemstone, and after picking up the pencil, we draw in the little notebook to unlock a puzzle holding the moon quartz. We can make our way back downstairs, using the gemstone to unlock the gambling room. We can pick up antique coins scattered across the center to unlock various items that will help us during our time as Grace. We can choose a hip pouch that increases inventory space, a stabilizer, and steroids that increase our shooting proficiency and maximum health respectively, and the Matsuoka override manual, which increases the blood collector's capacity by 50. For now, we pick up the East Wing keycard from a zombie's arm and unlock the hip pouch, increasing our memory space by 2 slots. Now we'll use the keycard to the East Wing of the care center and pick up the hemolytic injector. This item can instantly kill any enemy from stealth or while staggered, and pop it into the doctor in front of us, granting the Fatal Dose achievement for defeating a zombie with the hemolytic injector. In the room right across from that is a testing lab, and here we'll find scrap, a blood collector, and our first blood specimen. Blood specimens can be used to unlock new crafting recipes for more items, and can be combined with blood and scrap to unlock various items. We get a few achievements here too, starting with getting the Science achievement for completing our first recipe by completing this puzzle. We can also extract blood from various surfaces and objects, setting us up for the Power of Blood achievement by crafting an item using the blood collector. We also make our way upstairs to the lead researcher's office in the East Wing, where we find a lockpick and a bunch of photos and files that will help us unlock the second quartz piece. We also need a corrosive to open the lock holding it closed. It's located in this room, which is currently more than what we can handle, so we'll be back shortly. We can sneak through this room here to return to the lobby and get an achievement for unlocking a drawer with a lockpick. And crafting another ink ribbon got us another achievement for using 300 micro samples of blood. And we unlock the override manual, increasing our collector's carrying capacity to 150. Now that we have the level 1 wristband from earlier, we can use it in 3 different areas marked with a level 1 clearance pass. The first of which is here, next to the kitchen, which will need to access the upper floor of the West Wing. Straight ahead, we can pick up a wrench in the safe room and the organ transplant box in the room right next to it. We need to kill the driver who's obstructing our path to leave. Upstairs, we can break the crate to lure 2 zombies to our location. The blind one is extra sensitive to sound and it whacks at the other zombie, getting us the internal dispute achievement for making a zombie attack another zombie. We'll do a little more looting as well with one notable item, an empty injector. You can craft these with 120 blood to create steroids and 130 for stabilizers, whatever it is you fancy. Now we can go left toward the bar and lounge, but we head back down instead. The gigantic chef zombie is here, and we sneak up on him, earning the Order Up achievement. Killing him drops the pantry key, but before we unlock that, there's another locked level 1 door in the room right next to us, and we pick up another hit pouch. And in the pantry are various goodies, especially the 2 extra Requiem rounds, and the stakeout takeout charm. Back to the bar and lounge now, we've also opened a few safes in the examination and waiting room, with each containing 2 to 3 antique coins. The last one in the care center is right here, and we also picked up the SNS M32, which is Grace's pistol that we used at the start of the game. While leaving, we also eliminated one of the 2 singing zombies located in the care center. The other is located in the conference room, and both must die for the Deadly Duet achievement. In the waiting room, we unlock our 3rd level 1 door, which contains more goodies and another specimen. Now better prepared, we prepare to return to the conference room and researcher's office, but this is going to be a bit of a problem with chunk around, and one injector didn't really do the trick. No problem though, we detoured back to the lab, unlocking the last door, looting everything inside that room, and solved both specimens, unlocking their respective recipes. When we leave, we put another injector into Chunk a 2nd time, and wait for him to squeeze past us a 3rd time before injecting the fatal dose that killed him, granting the Grace vs Goliath achievement and the I Spy charm. We can then make our way back to the observation room now, kill the enemies inside, including the 2nd singer, which grants the Deadly Duet achievement, and safely pick up the corrosive. When we head back to melt the lock, Dr. Gideon surprises us, but with some quick-witted thinking, Grace manages to hide and we escape. Now we can actually use the corrosive and pick up the 2nd quartz piece and a notebook that tells us how to open the organ transplant box, which gives us the artificial lungs. For the next item, we actually need the wrench. We can remove the valve wheel and use the wrench to twist open the lungs, opening the cold room and pick up the artificial heart lying inside. With this, we can return to the examination room, killing the zombies here, and place both items into the corpse. It reanimates, and when it's killed, we can pick up the level 2 wristband it drops, unlocking access to the isolation ward. The isolation ward contains the 3rd puzzle solution and the puzzle machine itself. Thanks to Grace's intuition, she deduces that the blind little girl from earlier can help her out, so we grab the wristband off the corpse and free her. His name is Emily. We take her back to the isolation ward, and while she unlocks it, we hold the position until she's ready. Unfortunately, the girl snatches her away, and we descend to the basement right behind her tail, earning the Descent into Darkness achievement. A few hours later, Dr. Gideon interrogates Leon, asking why Leon's here, and he won't hesitate to put out a funny one-liner now and then. And as Dr. Gideon prepares to torture him, Leon starts to cut himself loose and strikes back. We weren't able to finish him off, so for now, we make our way through the attic, finding a shotgun, and kill another chunk. After defeating him, we can leave the area and pry open the closet. Inside it is a compensator for our handgun, and upon equipping it, we earn the Tailor-Made achievement for upgrading our weapon. Soon, we can descend to the attic to reach the care center, which will be exactly how we left it while we played as Grace. We need to search Victor's office, which is scattered with corpses, looting what we can, and unlocking a secret passage behind the painting. While it opens, we must fight. It's going to take a while, but when it eventually opens, we can run up and take the elevator to his private office. Leon and Sherry behind the scenes decrypt Dr. Gideon's computer, confirming they are both infected with a new variant of T-virus. And desperate for answers, They also set out to find Grace. While Leon was upstairs searching for the care center, we were down here searching for Emily. Emily is currently inside a holding cell, and we will need to find 3 joint plugs to free her and open the gate while being hunted by the girl. The first of 3 joint plugs is right here, and we can use it to open up areas of the map and provide much needed light, which will help us defend ourselves against the girl in an emergency. The first place we needed to go was the boiler room. We would find a square socket wrench and a few other items inside a red toolbox, and we could sneak back to where we were, avoiding the girl. On the way back, we can power up the bunk room and loot some more useful stuff, like some rounds on the bed and a Molotov cocktail crafting recipe. On our way out, he jump scares us, but we weren't able to hide from her. She eventually finds us and we shoot her with the Requiem, granting the achievement, Bring Out the Big Guns. And we continue by unlocking the door in the furnace area. We sneak into the little office here, unlocking the safe to get the Raccoon Roundup map and kill the zombie in here to pick up the second joint plug. For the third and final joint plug, we need the square socket wrench to loosen some screws and put both joint plugs in the power distributor. After some walking, we find the third joint plug and the forklift key. We can use this on 2 forklifts, and the first is just over here. Using the forklift key grants access to a map and a hip pouch on the table. We can't leave the area with a third joint plug from here, so we will need to return to the forklift near the second joint plug we saw earlier. We can use the forklift key here to reach processing and move through the maze to reach the meat grinder on the other side. Here, we can drain the water and collect the joint plug we left behind after processing stops. It's a few minutes of intense combat, fighting off all the enemies while trying not to be grinded into paste. After that, we'll be able to get out of the area via ventilation fan before we fall into a pool of blood. We can retrieve all the joint plugs we set to get to processing and place them into the holding cell power distributor, opening up all the gates, grabbing Emily and getting the hell out of there, almost dying in the process. After this, Emily hands us the third quartz piece and we can finally get out, earning It's Been a Long Night for reaching the courtyard of the care center. In the courtyard, we'll find a helicopter pilot who can help us escape, but there's just one problem. We need to find the helicopter key for him, which is just by this house. After extracting this item from a wine bottle, we can place it here, and the floor takes us into a miniature experimental facility. After we find the helicopter key, we can get out, but it's never that simple. Victor does the classic self-destruction, and now we have to escape the facility. Zombies are everywhere, and the facility is falling apart quickly. And when we do escape, we hand over the helicopter key, but zombies surround the fences and pile onto the helicopter as it takes off. They hang onto the helicopter and smash open the windows, but Grace forcibly crashes the helicopter, setting the chapter to a stop. Leon hears the commotion outside, and with a rifle conveniently placed to the side, Leon readies himself for action. He needs to protect Grace as she runs to safety with an unconscious Emily in her hands, and provide cover fire to help her reach the church and escape as she tries to breach open the church door. Once they're inside and most of the zombies are dead, we can jump down and kill the stragglers nearby and help Grace. But this moment is also short-lived, so we tell her to flee to the water treatment plant while we hold off the enemies on her tail.
Get her safe.
This big one here is a Blisterborn, a massive enemy that turns nearby infected into blister heads when we destroy one of its paws. And while we're rolling the zombies trapped inside with us, Grace continues to try finding a way out on her own. The girl is also hunting us, so we quickly find a safe place to lay Emily down and eliminate her before we can render first aid. We'll find a lot of useful stuff in the safe room, especially a lot of Requiem rounds. We need to open the rooftop and kill the girl, which we can do so by restoring power to the facility. There are 3 switches we need to manually pull to do so, and with the girl close behind on our tail, this one's pretty easy. And this one switch is quite stubborn, so we need to put out a shot to slow her down. Lastly, pick up a new crank lever and activate this too, fully restoring power. With all 3 activated, we finally open the sunroof, burning the girl to a pile of mush. Unfortunately, Emily also passed away when we returned to her, and she mutates, forcing Leon to neutralize her, devastating Grace, and she internalizes the blame toward herself for letting Emily down. Sadly, this is something Leon understands too well, but Grace isn't having it. Before Leon can bring it back to her senses, he starts coughing, and Grace walks off, desperate for answers, defecting to Dr. Gideon and the person everyone's calling Timu Wesker. They make their way to Raccoon City, granting V a harsh reality achievement for fully escaping the care center. Time's running out. Leon makes his way to Raccoon City, and his part of the story begins. Leon needs to reach central Raccoon City, but with the road blocked, we'll have to go on foot. And we don't get very far as we get into a boss fight with a giant spider very quickly. We spend the first part running and the second part fighting, eventually killing it. After the fight, we get out of the train station to explore East Raccoon City, and to progress, we need to find a way through the gate. The first place we explore is an abandoned BSAA camp. They were also going to the Raccoon City Center, and Sherry also says that no one from the Pentagon authorized the Raccoon City missile strike. And we find the tactical tracker. We need to find 3 detonator parts to blow open the gate. For now, we open the warehouse just straight ahead and make our way up to the roof. Several zombies arise from the ground, and we fight them, each new kill slowly increasing our credits. We can shoot down the buckles to create platforms as we continue making our way up, killing more zombies. After defeating the zombie by the door, we can pick up the Cedar Brook Apartments key. Once we get to the roof, we'll find an empty generator and the distributor. Where we go next is entirely up to you, but we can go to the apartment to get the signal receiver, or here for the relay. But for now, we're going to this gas station over here. We can take the lift down, and we actually have some credits to spare now. So we head over to the supply box, buy our first item, level 1 body armor, earning the retail therapy achievement. After unlocking the gate here, we can go to the underground parking garage to reach the gas station after finding 2 batteries. The first battery is in the sewage facility, and we need to fully turn the valve wheel to extend the platform, and after we do that, we can pick up our first battery. The second is by the parking garage, and we can move through these zombies strategically to get to this room, picking up a submachine gun and the second battery. And after putting both batteries inside, we can leave the parking garage. Outside lie several BSAA soldiers, and we analyze the body camera footage to figure out what happened here. They're here to find Elpis. The game will reveal what this is in more detail soon, but the BSAA were also trying to find a way through the gate, and when they move in clear, Timu Wesker blows every soldier into bits and pieces. No one survives, and he and Grace continue whatever they were doing before. After that, we pick up the BSAA container key, which unlocks BSAA supply crates in the area. There's one at the camp we're at, and inside it is a nice motorcycle and a repair kit for the detonator. Next, we can head back to the gas station where we'll get some gas. After picking up the container, we need to fight off the enemies that spawn after, with this big guy after saving the best for last. After this, we can fill the gas can and the generator, letting us leave. We can go back up to the lift and fill the generator on the warehouse roof and zipline to the high-rise buildings ahead, slowly making our way to the very top. There's a little bit of parkour in it, and we face zombified BSAA soldiers. Some had guns, and some had a detonator and explosives. Eventually, we do get to the very top and get the relay, our second detonator part. And now we have to find our way back to ground level, fighting enemies here to release the platform on one side and do it again on the other side. And we can then take the suspended platform down to the ground, and after we run straight out, get the going down achievement as soon as we escape. Lastly, we'll need to get the signal receiver, the third and final detonator part. In the Cedar Brook Apartments, we can jump down here and fight the BSAA zombies to get the rusty crank. We need to kill zombies manning artillery weapons and other zombies on the ground before we climb the ladder, pick up the final detonator part and combine it with the repair kit. And after we return to the main gate, we can blow it up and leave Eastern Raccoon City.
Should make it there in no time.
In true Resident Evil fashion, things always take a turn for the worse and do so very quickly. Dr. Gideon and his mutant dogs are out for blood, but they're no problem for us. And we also get the Road Rage achievement for shooting at Gideon during the chase. After shooting many dogs, many detours, explosions, and cool tricks later, we encounter him up close and personal one last time. After putting a hole in his gas tank and a scuffle, we finish it off with a Wild West standoff. After that, Victor crashes, falls, and explodes. Seemingly dead, we continue onward to the Raccoon City Centre, and as the bike runs out of fuel, we set off on foot once again to the same street where Leon and Claire were separated in Resident Evil 2. That's also going to be our next stop, the RPD, and after some intense flashbacks from Leon's past, we get the Hero Returns achievement for arriving there. The PSAA have also set up camp here, trying to find Elpis as well, and Timu Wesker is here as well, taunting Leon, knowing that he'd come. Timu Wesker and Grace are now at the RPD East offices, and we now need to find our way there. Most of the West Wing is still explorable, but we only need the mechanical jack located in the library. We can use this to open the East Wing gate, and inside, we eavesdrop on Timu Wesker's conversation with Grace. Elpis is a virus created by Spencer, a character in Resident Evil 5, and Grace is the key to retrieving it. He even tried to create clones of her, all to no avail. In February 1990, we played as Chloe, a girl who looks just like Emily but isn't. She's an earlier clone that failed the test. As Chloe, the entire flashback is essentially gameplay of escaping the orphanage. We spend a lot of time hiding from murderous children and find Ark, an underground lab dedicated to unlocking Elpis. At the end, Chloe would be injected with the T-virus after viewing the slides and then disposed like the rest of them. The truth deeply overwhelms Grace, and she internalizes that blame and guilt toward herself. When we intervene, Timu Wesker dodges everything and leaves us to Mr. X before he leaves. Eventually, we manage to separate ourselves from him, and with the new information we have, we need to explore the orphanage to find that secret entrance. And leaving isn't that easy because we need to escape with Mr. X right on our tail, waiting, anticipating, stalking. Back in the lobby, we can rest for a short moment and catch our breath before we leave the RPD, passing through Kendo's gun store. Leon has more flashbacks of his past failures, and opening the door, he sees nothing but the child's remains and a medical prescription issued by Umbrella. Beside the door is a W870 police tactical shotgun we'll be selling for credits, and commence our first boss fight with Mr. X. Now the fight's on, and this fight is absolute cinema. We need to shoot at Mr. X's weak point to kill him, parry his arm attacks, and watch for when he decides to strike a car or pick one up to throw at us. And we eventually kill him. Getting the "I remember that too" achievement. We eventually get to the orphanage and search for the underground Huck entrance, but it's covered in debris, so we need another way in. We pass through some train carriages, and after killing this plant enemy, the carriages fall into the pit, but we survive. We find some climbing gear and rope to grab onto and reach the ground safely. And after we eliminate some plant enemies against this very big plant enemy, we find and open the entrance to Ark and go inside, getting the achievement Umbrella's Legacy. Now we're at Ark, we still have to find Grace. We'll get a lead on her in the server room in the central refining system, but elite Umbrella security guards will move in on our location. After taking out the first four, more appear in the room adjacent to us, setting up an ambush. We clear them out. The new reinforcements that come in too. And the liquor we accidentally freed. One more operative stands in our way though. Punk. Though it isn't directly confirmed, it's heavily implied. We'll get into another fight with him too. We need to play defensively and strike him in between parries to get some damage in. When he's lowered to half health, he stuns us with a flashbang and attempts to snap our neck, which won't work, and he strikes a pipe, making the room foggy. He tries to use his weapon at a distance when he can, and use stealth to catch you by surprise, but we persevere and kill him here too. Picking up his hatchet after the fight as a trophy. When we reach Grace, Timu Wesker pressures her to enter the correct password to unlock Elpis, which she doesn't know, and when Leon intervenes, he fails to stop him. Grace holds a gun to her head, stalling Timu Wesker for long enough for Leon to cause the distraction, and they fall to the lower levels of Ark, escaping safely. but Leon collapses and Grace waits beside him anxiously for Leon to wake up. They have a little conversation and he leaves without Grace to stop Zeno, but she insists on being included, so he lets her, as long as she promises to destroy Elpis, earning the achievement The Final Mission. Leon helps Grace up a ventilation shaft, so she investigates the lower levels on her own. First, we'll need 2 keys, starting with the override key. There are lickers in the lab, so we move carefully around them and lure them away with distractions to reach this room. After defeating the zombies inside, we can pick up a dump control override key and sneak back to the control panel below to open a path for Leon and retrieve the magnetic key. While Leon explores, we unlock the lobby and we'll need to find 2 colored orbs to finish Grace's section. The first we find is the white orb located to the left of the lobby. Over here, there are lickers and we'll need to fight our way past them. We can then get into the operations room and we collect the white orb. And for the red one, it's just locked in the cleaning room right next to the room with the override key. We can pick up the orb with no problems and create a path out. On the way out, we also unlock the last 2 safes, getting the No Safe is Safe achievement for opening every safe in the main story. We then insert the 2 orbs to open the door and inspect the monitor on the massive screen in front of us. Onto Leon now, the virus begins to take over him. His body is getting weaker and time is running out. Like with Grace, we also need an override key, but it's for an elevator this time and we get one for him. On the way back, we'll kill these 4 lickers by throwing 2 grenades in here and call for elevator with the override key. While we wait, we get the cat got your tongue achievement for cutting the tongue off a licker and then eliminating the enemies that broke out of the pods. When the elevator finally arrives, we can descend to ground level and stumble all the way back to the entrance before we fall. As Grace, we also find Leon here and check on him right away. He's not okay, but we help him up and he begs us to destroy it, and the game gives us a choice. We need to put in the correct password. Should we destroy Elpis or release it? Well, let's rewind a little. Earlier, we inserted the floppy disk Alyssa had hidden at the Wrenwood Hotel and played it. The first video is about Alyssa interviewing Spencer about his past regrets and why he created Elpis. Elpis was his way of atoning to the world for the lives taken and damage done, and another way he did this was by adopting a little girl, Grace, who Melissa took into her arms. So at the time, I decided to release Elpis rather than destroy it. Hope was actually the correct password and the files revealed themselves. Grace wasn't a key, and she wasn't special. She was just a normal girl. Timmy Wesker, oblivious to the truth, injects Elpis into him without a second thought, while completely unaware that it's an antiviral, removing his powers. Toward the end, we learn that Timmy Wesker is a part of the Connections, a shadowy organization seeking a bioweapon, not a cure, so he's frustrated and blames Victor, who on the other hand, believes Elpis was a weapon, and fulfills what he thinks were Spencer's final wishes, world domination, and he kills him. Before he kills us, Grace takes the opportunity to inject Elpis into Leon, curing him. And as the platform collapses, the game's final boss fight begins. And after the first stage, he transforms into a gigantic monster, but we beat him, turning him into a pile of mush. After that, Leon finds Grace, and they lie back together until Chris Redfield's Hound Wolf squad rescues them. Ark becomes a huge crime scene, and Leon holds onto a vial of the cure for Sherry. He also comforts Grace and tells her Emily is still alive. Sometime later, Grace blows a whistle on everything, and back at the FBI office, she's noticeably more confident than before. She also adopted Emily, just as Alyssa had adopted her. The game then ends with 2 soldiers collecting evidence at Ark and the final boss fight area. Umbrella may be over, but we have a new threat to take on now, earning Rookie Agent, Resolute Agent, and Hope and Requiem for completing the game on the standard classic difficulty and completing the main story by releasing Elpis. We spent our second playthrough collecting most of the remaining achievements that we hadn't earned yet. After completing the game for the first time, we gain access to the extra content store, which lets us unlock bonus weapons, items, and modifiers. And as soon as we hop into our second playthrough, we can access the store right away. This is helpful toward earning the credit where credit is due achievement, which requires us to earn a total of 200,000 credits. We're also going for the minimalist achievement by completing the game without grace using the blood collector, and never touch the stuff, or not using any herbs or med injectors for both characters, and case closed, as we're also going to find all remaining files we haven't picked up yet. And you little rascal for destroying every Mr. Raccoon on the way. When we start playing as Grace, we don't pick up a blood collector. Using blood to craft items and extracting blood with the collector disqualifies you from earning the achievement. This does make our playthroughs as Grace much harder, but not impossible, and with the stakeout takeout charm equipped, we can attack and defend more reliably with the knife, increasing the knife's damage and durability. Knives will also be the only item we can craft as Grace, only needing 2 scraps. When we get to the RPD as Leon, we can earn Master Craftsman for crafting every possible item with Leon. And not long after, we also earned the credit where credit is due achievement after getting all the credits we needed. And just before we left East Raccoon City, we also opened all 3 BSAA crates for the Crate Expectations achievement. The first of which is in the supply camp from earlier, containing the motorcycle and repair kit. You can find the next BSAA container east of the gas station and apartments, and inside you would normally find the Marksman 1A semi-automatic carbine. However, since this was a New Game Plus playthrough and I already owned the weapon, we just got random items instead. And last is actually at the very start of the East Raccoon City section. We can return to the train station to use an alternate entrance back to where we started and open our final container here. Beside the gun shop, we also get an achievement for shooting our last Mr. Raccoon by the entrance to the sewers. Our last 2 achievements before completing the game were Not Today Buds and Case Closed. To earn Not Today Buds, we need to kill all the mutated plant enemies. The first is on the train here, which is unmissable. And there are 8 more we can find once we descend into the cave. After crawling through here, we'll find our second plant. Along the path to the hanging school bus, there are 2 more plants. Then we want to curve left, and on the ground, we can provoke the next seedling to spawn by shooting at the vine. The 6th one is just straight ahead on the original path and will strike when you get too close. The 7th plant is right next to it. You'll just need to shoot the protruding vine on the ground, like the 5th one from earlier. And the last 2 spawn at the end of the path, granting the achievement with no problems. And after collecting both orbs, we also read our last file, getting the Case Closed achievement. To finish off the game, we also try seeing the second ending of destroying Elpis. After putting in the wrong password, the facility starts to collapse and Leon puts an axe into his shoulder, helping Grace escape, but also sacrificing himself in the process.
Come on!
He's overpowered and beaten down. Before Timmy Wesker executes him.
I could save you.
No!
And as the platform falls too low, he's unable to catch up to Grace. She manages to escape Ark with a helicopter coming to the rescue, but that's about it. We get the remaining achievements in our 3rd and final Insanity playthrough. Also, under 4 hours for the Speed Demon achievement, and this game mode is no joke. Enemies have more health, are more difficult to stagger, deal significantly more damage, and are faster. In this game mode, you're also heavily encouraged to buy items from the extra content shop. We bought several items to help with this, like many bonus items and weapons, but no modifiers such as infinite durability or ammunition, and no unlimited saves. As soon as we open the game, we waste no time. As Grace, antique coin spawns have changed, and some enemies will drop them on death. In the care center, we prioritize conserving resources, quick looting, and efficient killing, taking effort to bait swings, stagger, or just running past enemies that don't need to be killed. You might also notice we started this section with Freya's Needle, Grace's fully automatic handgun, and given our time constraints, this is very much necessary, as the B934 handgun was relocated from the dining hall to the waiting room, and the S&S M32 isn't worth the resource cost to retrieve. We also have a knife on us at all times and a stakeout takeout charm equipped to escape more often when shit hits the fan. In the chairman's office, we get the moon quartz right away, and the trinket box is moved into the office itself, but we can still grab it without dying. And in the gambling room, the zombie gets up sooner, but we can just grab the card and get out with no problems. The injectors were replaced with miscellaneous items, handgun ammo, and a rip knife, which is a reskinned makeshift knife that awards slightly more blood on enemy kills. Two items that are worth it though are the trusty hip pouch we do get, and later another override manual. As we got an extra 50 from the extra content shop, this gives us a total capacity of 200, which we get later on. Then we head straight into the east wing, running straight past the enemies as there's no hemolytic injector here, and straight into the blood lab, flicking the light to move the zombie away from where we need to go next. We need to loot everything and solve the first specimen puzzle immediately before we wait for these 3 zombies to line up near the isolation ward and kill all 3 with our Requiem. We'll need to do this because 2 of the zombies here guard the staircase above us, which we return to several times, and the surgeon, who watches the corpse with the level 2 wristband. After that, we grab a lockpick without resistance and then the level 1 wristband, running straight downstairs back to the waiting room where we break a vase to draw the attention of both zombies, while unlocking the door back to the east wing lobby and lockpicking the drawer without opening it. Then immediately return to craft and throw a bottle at the same location, causing the blind one to kill the maid. During this, we also sneak into the closet here, loot the items inside, then run back to the blood lab to solve the specimen, loot the items inside that locked room, and then solve our 3rd specimen, then get the wrench and organ transplant box, and in the 2nd floor offices, lure the zombies and loot the records room. I also didn't mention we died many times throughout the playthrough, so when we got here, we got the Bloodlust achievement after using one of the transfusion bags inside. And with the various empty injectors we found, we pulled everything into stabilizers, increasing target acquisition, damage, chances to stagger an enemy, and reducing weapon sway. You won't need steroids if you play smart enough to not take damage anyway. Then, on the way down, we finish up here, get the artificial heart, kill the chef, get the next hip pouch, and collect Requiem ammo on our way back to the lobby. Then we return to the surgical room, get a level 2 wristband, and then go to the isolation ward to get the level 3 wristband. On our way out, use another Requiem round to instantly kill more enemies in a straight line, and go get the corrosive. And once we get our 2nd quartz piece, we pick up Emily and defend her while she gets the 3rd one. The enemies here need to die, there's no timer to wait out, so prioritize killing them quickly to move on quickly. And that was the most complex part of the Insanity run, and it took 45 minutes to get to this point. Grace's parts were extremely tough, but her other gameplay sections followed the same general strategy and were manageable as long as we avoided conflict when possible and prioritized speed and resource management. When playing as Leon, we also tried avoiding fights when possible. However, when we do have to fight, Blisterheads and BSAA zombies are really tough to kill, but using shotguns, grenades, and the environment to displace zombies when knocked to the floor or a wall can help you eliminate enemies more easily. The 990 Tactical is the best performing shotgun by far. I highly recommend the Clatter Carbine as well, as it's a versatile weapon you can rely on in most situations. You also want to be really good at parrying attacks, it's vital to your survival. Buy the Mortal Edge in the shop as soon as you can, or upgrade your hatchet's durability. And when it's time to enter the password, we need to release Requiem and defeat the final boss. Doing this enabled us to complete the game in 3 hours and 14 minutes, awarding the Speed Demon and Remarkable Agent achievements. And lastly, we needed to use our remaining completion points to purchase all models and concept art and view every single one. So you made it to the very end. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I appreciate you for watching all the way through. I also wanted to share an update on the current state of my channel right now. It's small as you can see, but it's growing fast. I've also been working hard behind the scenes and I have a lot more videos on various games coming soon, or in various stages of production. If you would like to see more Resident Evil content or anything else in particular, let me know on what you would like to see next, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Your support genuinely helps me grow and enables me to continue making amazing videos like these. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.